On this edition for Saturday, February 29th, the first death in the United States from coronavirus. South Carolina's Democratic presidential primary takes center stage as candidates hope to gain ground ahead of Super Tuesday. And in our signature segment, Maracaibo, Venezuela, once an oil-wealthy playground, now a ghost town. Next on PBS NewsHour Weekend.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments. Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. From the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center in New York, Hari Srinivasan.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Health officials in Washington state reported the first death from the new coronavirus in the United States today. The person who died was described as being a man in his mid-50s and a medically high-risk patient who had not had any known contact with infected patients. Shortly after the announcement, President Trump called a press conference at the White House with members of his coronavirus task force.
Additional cases in the United States are likely, but healthy individuals should be able to fully recover.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the National Institutes of Health, said the virus cases are being isolated and traced.
The country as a whole, because we get asked that all the time, still remains at low risk. But when we say that, we want to underscore that this is an evolving situation. And in real time, we will keep you appraised of what is going on just the same way as that we are doing it today.
Additional travel restrictions were announced for countries with the highest rates of infection, including a ban on anyone who has traveled to Iran in the past 2 weeks or to regions of Italy and South Korea.
The President today has authorized the State Department to increase the travel advisory for Americans to level 4. We are urging Americans to not travel to the areas in Italy and the areas in South Korea that are most affected by the coronavirus.
The Federal Food and Drug Administration announced a new policy today that allows laboratories to develop their own tests for COVID-19, vastly increasing the capacity for diagnostic testing across the country. Italy announced 8 more deaths and 240 more cases since yesterday, raising the number of cases to more than 1,100 people. South Korea announced 600 additional cases, the biggest single-day increase. The number of cases in that country is now more than 3,000 people. Polls opened at 7 this morning throughout South Carolina for the first in the South primary vote for the Democratic nominee for president. Former Vice President Joe Biden was out greeting voters in Greenville, hoping to maintain his polling lead in the crowded field. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren made her appeal in Columbia. South Carolina represents the first major test of the candidate's appeal to African-American voters. And the primary comes just 3 days before Super Tuesday, when voters in 14 states and 1 U.S. territory will cast their ballots. With their sights set on Tuesday, several candidates were campaigning outside South Carolina today. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders was in Massachusetts. Others have rallies and events planned tonight across the country. We'll have more from South Carolina coming up on the broadcast. The United States and the Taliban signed a peace agreement today that sets the stage for an end to the 18-year war in Afghanistan. U.S. envoy Zalmay Khalilzad and Taliban leader Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar signed the agreement. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called it a step towards stability in the region.
We are seizing the best opportunity for peace in a generation, built on the hard work of our soldiers, diplomats, businessmen, aid workers, friends, and the Afghans themselves.
The terms of the agreement state that in exchange for the withdrawal of U.S. troops, the Taliban promises not to support extremism in Afghanistan. At a ceremony in Kabul today, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper and Afghan President Ashraf Ghani signed a joint statement committing the Afghan government to the conditional deal.
Our declaration acknowledges the deep bonds shared by Afghan and U.S. forces and reflects our commitment to working together to achieve a sustainable, negotiated agreement that ends the war for the benefit of all Afghans.
More than 2,400 U.S. troops and tens of thousands of Afghans have died in the war since operations began there in 2001. Turkey opened its borders with Europe today, allowing Syrian migrants and refugees to flee to the continent. In response, Greece reinforced its border to stop the wave of migrants from entering, leading to clashes between the refugees and Greek authorities. Nearly 950,000 civilians have been pushed toward the Syrian-Turkish border during ongoing fighting in Syria and cold weather. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that Turkey cannot handle the migrants and that he has no plan to reverse his decision. For the latest on the South Carolina primary, I'm joined now by Gavin Jackson, host and public affairs reporter for public television station SCE-TV. Thanks for being with us. So you went to the polls this morning, talked to some of those early bird voters. What was on their mind?
Thanks, Hari. Yeah, I went to several polling locations in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, here in the central part of the state, and talked to a wide variety of people. And I remember talking to one woman early in the morning, and I asked her who she voted for, and she said, well, I was debating between my heart and my conscience, and my heart won. And her heart vote was for Senator Elizabeth Warren, but her brain was telling her that maybe she needs to think a little bit more strategically. But even then, she didn't know who she wanted to vote for because that was between former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders. So people are thinking strategically down here in South Carolina, thinking to Super Tuesday and beyond, and thinking about that nomination and who can beat Donald Trump, because electability is the top issue on voters' minds down here. And people, overall, the folks that I talked to, black, white, were very big on, of course, backing whoever the nominee is going to be. Even if that's Senator Bernie Sanders, even though some folks I talked to were not very big on Senator Sanders and his proposals, they're there to get behind him if he's the nominee.
Do they see the importance of it playing out, given that there wasn't kind of, overwhelming victories in all the previous states? Do they know the kind of scrutiny and spotlight that they're under?
Yeah, definitely. South Carolina always plays kind of that determining role. There's some clarity. And it's funny because I did talk to our chairman of the Democratic Party here after the debate on Tuesday in Charleston. And I asked him, Trav, did we get any clarity tonight? And he said, no, but we'll have clarity at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So when the polls close tonight at 7 p.m., we'll definitely start getting some idea about who might be leading the pack here. Obviously, Bernie Sanders has that momentum coming in here, but Joe Biden polls are showing that he's having a pretty strong resurgence. A lot of people are crediting that to just Joe getting back on the ground here in South Carolina this past week. He was one of the few candidates that actually went to church here on this past Sunday, which is really kind of surprising when we're looking at how candidates are treating South Carolina this go around. I mean, several candidates aren't even in the state today. Even if they're, Bernie Sanders is not going to be in the state today. He might come in second place, but won't be giving a speech from South Carolina. Meanwhile, Joe Biden and Tom Steyer will be in the state. And so folks are noticing, they are paying attention. They watch that debate. They've been seeing ads on TV, of course, just, besieged by ads. And then also, voting with people that they've known. And when you see someone like Congressman Jim Clyburn giving that endorsement, folks take note of things like that, and they do vote with their heart.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about the endorsement of African Americans, prominent African Americans in South Carolina? How much of a sway does that have versus people recognizing a face or even just seeing one on TV?
And, I would say that those endorsements have been very important. We've seen a lot of black legislators get involved and back some major candidates, specifically Tom Steyer, which is another reason why we have been seeing Steyer do so well here in South Carolina, making those inroads with members of the black community, which is just so critical to winning South Carolina. And that's something we saw because Tom has been on the ground here a lot. He's been on the airwaves a lot. Like we've said, kids go on YouTube, they know who Tom Steyer is because his ads pre-roll all the time. So it's really just interesting to see just how much traction and saturation he's been getting and whether that will turn into votes. But yes, those endorsements matter because those filter out into the community with leaders, faith leaders, and others, and word gets around.
Finally, I want to ask, Donald Trump was there. As part of his strategy seems to be to go to these places where the votes are happening the night before the vote or the 2 nights before the vote. Any impact about that?
I don't think we've seen much of an impact from that, Hari. I think, I will tell you, I was editing a package the other day, and looking back to last fall when President Donald Trump was here in Columbia at a historically black college, the same weekend as a slate of Democratic presidential candidates were here to speak too. So that was the big ruffle, I think, and big impact that Donald Trump has had on this race so far. In terms of him coming to South Carolina, I think, obviously Republicans were pretty hyped up about that, but in terms of affecting the Democratic turnout, not so much. And I even talked to a Republican voter today who voted for Joe Biden, not Bernie Sanders, as so many have been talking about Republicans would be doing to affect this turnout, to help maybe propel Bernie Sanders to become the nominee. This man was saying Bernie Sanders is the worst thing for the country, so he wanted to make sure he was backing Joe Biden since we have open primaries here.
All right. Gavin Jackson of South Carolina ETV, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Hari.
For more on the 2020 presidential race and the latest results from the South Carolina primary, visit pbs.org/newshour. We turn now to Venezuela, which finds itself more than a year into the standoff for leadership between Socialist President Nicolas Maduro and opposition leader Juan Guaido. All week, NewsHour has been reporting on the political and economic turmoil in that country and the upheaval that is creating a humanitarian crisis in the once wealthy and thriving nation. Tonight, NewsHour Weekend Special Correspondent Marcia Biggs takes us more than 300 miles west of the capital city of Caracas to Maracaibo. The country's second largest city was once the jewel of Venezuela's petroleum economy. Now it's a mere shell of itself. Support for this series comes from the Pulitzer Center.
Sunrise in Maracaibo, and these people have been up all night, waiting in line for gasoline.
How long have you been here?
A las 6 de la mañana ayer.
This man says he's been here since 6 a.m. the day before. Venezuela is suffering from a massive gas shortage, so most of them have been in line for 24 hours, drinking coffee, talking among friends, reading the newspaper, doing anything to pass the time.
The thing is, I live here. You practically live here.
These lines can stretch for miles, snaking through neighborhoods and wrapping around city blocks. Once drivers finally reach the pump, they can only fill up around 13 gallons at a time, which among these many old cars doesn't last long. The good news is they will pay no money. Gas is so heavily subsidized in Venezuela, it's essentially free. But they do pay a heavy price with their time. And when the gas is gone for the day, it's gone. I want to explode, says Eddie Rincon. He waited in line almost 24 hours only to now be told there was no gas left.
Can you imagine how I feel? Pained, cheated, and humiliated by all of it.
The frustration and preoccupation with filling the tank on a regular basis really dominates daily life here. Everything revolves around what time do I need to get in line? What place am I going to get? How much gas will I receive? The irony is, we're standing on the world's largest oil reserve.
One of the most vibrant cities anywhere, Maracaibo.
Maracaibo was the oil boom town of South America, Venezuela's second largest city and home to 2/3 of its oil production, drawing companies and workers from all over the world, including the United States.
Another familiar sight was a used car lot full of American autos.
Once a city where Venezuela's glitterati went to suntan and make money, and to spend it, now a ghost town. And Lake Maracaibo, once thought to be one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, now a graveyard for Venezuela's crumbling oil industry. Rusting and stagnant, broken pipelines underwater, leaking oil everywhere.
How long has all of this been shut down?
That? Around 5 years. This is a cemetery now.
We went out with fisherman Luis Moreno, who grew up on this lake and is one of its few remaining inhabitants.
It's sad to bring you to this place the way it is. Because if you had come here 15 years ago, you would have been impressed by the beauty of this place. Before, there were fishermen, people swimming, having fun. We weren't afraid of getting covered in oil.
I mean, this is just an incredible scene. There's oil covering the top of the lake, the oil on the outside of the boat. There's oil on his clothes, oil in his hands. I mean, we're just surrounded by oil. Estamos rodeados de petróleo. Sí.
Todo el tiempo.
Once home, Luis uses gasoline, which he also waited in line for hours to get, to remove the oil from his hands and clothes. the entire neighborhood lives this cruel irony. And there's another problem, and one that's even more dangerous. Pure crude leaks from hoses meant to serve the community with cooking gas.
So he's saying that he's not worried about the danger factor of this because this is pure oil. They know it's oil. But what he worries about is when the gas line comes and they think it's gas and actually it's a mix of gas and pure oil. That, he said, could be very dangerous.
Luis's neighbor, Romelia de Silva, says her gas lines have been leaking pure crude for the last year and a half. And last year, she says she was trying to cook when the gas line exploded. No one was seriously injured, and they have since disconnected the hose from the stove. But they can't keep the oil from flowing, so they simply fill up these buckets to try to prevent its spread. We should all be millionaires sitting on this oil, she told us, and yet we don't have anything to eat.
It's not normal. It's not normal. This is crazy.
We sat down with 4 workers from the state oil company, Petróleos de Venezuela, or PDVSA. Maintenance worker Jairo Civada and boat drivers Carlos Vera, Jack Sanchez, and Larry Salazar. Collectively, they represent 50 years of service to Venezuela's oil industry.
5 people died when a house exploded. You can imagine the situation because PDVSA doesn't take responsibility for any of it. It doesn't take responsibility for the dead people, nor for improvements, for anything. They didn't answer for anything. It's run for your lives here.
Jairo has worked for PDVSA the longest, 33 years. He says production facilities on the lake have deteriorated by 90% due to lack of maintenance.
How does it feel when you see now the ruins of the industry that you dedicated your life to?
Actually, I feel quite sad because PDVSA doesn't belong to a party or to a government. PDVSA belongs to the nation, for production, for the benefit and the progress of a country.
The fate of Venezuela and its economy has historically been tied to the oil industry. It was oil that made it the 4th richest country in the world back in 1950. And in 1998, when Hugo Chavez was elected president, the country was producing 3.5 million barrels of oil a day, near the peak. Chavez began using profits from the state-run company to fund his socialist revolution, building housing projects for the poor and sending them free boxes of food. In late 2002, PDVSA workers opposed to Chavez went on strike for new elections. So Chavez fired 19,000 PDVSA employees, almost half the total workforce, and replaced them with loyalists. But over the years, his loyalists failed to make much-needed investments, and since 2007, production has steadily fallen, last year reaching the lowest level since the strike.
The situation is that these guys have stolen all the money. They stole everything. I mean, when they wanted to invest, they couldn't do it because they had taken it all. They destroyed everything.
These workers, who are not Chavez loyalists, say they continue to go to work but simply sign in and leave because there's nothing to do.
Do you worry about the consequences of speaking out?
We want the world to know what is happening in Venezuela. I don't have anything to lose. Let them see the cameras. Let them see because I don't care anymore.
Since 2013, when President Nicolas Maduro was elected, Venezuela's been suffering the world's worst economic contraction outside of a war zone. And few cities have suffered more than Maracaibo. Of the roughly 5 million migrants who have already left the country, many come from here, escaping failing hospitals and schools, rising malnutrition, unemployment, and poverty. Then last year, a catastrophic blow. A wave of looting after the country's electric grid failed and the city lost power for an entire week. Over 500 businesses were ransacked, many of which never reopened. None were hit harder than this former destination for vacationers and business travelers, the Hotel Brisas del Norte. Odales Vergara is the hotel manager. She's worked here since it opened 22 years ago. She says on the morning of March 12th, armed men arrived in trucks, prepared for demolition. Furniture, carpets, electronics, even the countertops were ripped out. Everything down to the electrical cables in the ceiling.
How did they do that? And how did they do it so fast?
She says she reported the incident to police but never received any response. Like so many others, the owners have left the country, and the hotel remains shuttered and in ruins.
It's hard, the recovery, because there's no help, there's no support, there's no interest. It's already been a year, and we haven't got anybody from the government to say, what do you want to do? And let's guarantee this. Without guarantees, who would dare invest in us?
Have you recovered?
No. No. I've been working here for 22 years. It was my life. I've been here since it was built, so the hurt is immense.
Even at night, you can see, or at least hear, that most of the city hasn't recovered. Generators hum during the mini rolling blackouts, and people line up for gas in darkness. For his part, President Maduro has blamed the gas crisis and woes of the oil industry on new U.S. sanctions imposed last year by President Donald Trump, which have further damaged an already crippled economy. Under mounting pressure, and like Hugo Chavez before him, Maduro's leaned increasingly on his backers in Russia and China, recently inviting foreign companies from those two countries to take over large parts of the state-run oil industry. They've been investing for years, but not managing production.
Neither the Chinese nor the Russians are going to do it because we've been waiting 20 years for those people.
And these PDVSA workers say that move won't fix the problem anyway. And they look to the past, to the days when American companies like Standard Oil worked in Venezuela.
With the Americans, the industry worked before.
So you want the Americans to come back?
Of course. They have to come here so that they can change PDVSA.
Oh my God, I want them to enter with planes and with all their equipment, with F-16s, with drones, with everything. I want them to enter in force so they can clean everything up and PDVSA can be reborn.
You're saying you wouldn't mind that they start a war here?
I don't care, because we're already at war. What do we have to lose? We've already lost everything here. We at least want an intervention to see what can be accomplished, because we're starving. We don't have clothes. We don't have anything.
This afternoon, Washington State's governor declared a state of emergency and directed state agencies to use, quote, all resources necessary to prepare for and respond to the coronavirus outbreak. In addition to the death of one man from the virus, there are several other confirmed cases there, and we will have complete results from South Carolina's primary online tonight and on our broadcast tomorrow. And we'll have a look ahead to the Super Tuesday vote. That's all for this edition of PBS NewsHour Weekend. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Thanks for watching. Happy Leap Day. Have a good night.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wachenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments.
When it comes to wireless, Consumer Cellular gives its customers the choice. Our no-contract plans give you as much or as little talk, text, and data as you want. And our U.S.-based customer service team is on hand to help. To learn more, go to consumercellular.tv.
Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.